All right, hello and welcome in to another episode of the Stadium Experience. I apologize. I had some developments in my professional life last week, which will for now go unmentioned. So we weren't able to record an episode last week, but we're here recording on a Monday, meaning that we sadly will not be able to bring you astute analysis of a Giants-Cowboys, the mega slugfest in the elite NFC East, but
very saddened by that.
It's true. But we have plenty of other great stuff to talk about today, Jordan, I think. This is going to be I'm excited for a really positive episode full of victory laps and good times. We can talk about great topics like, the Patriots had a, I'm going to call it frustrating. Frustrating loss. They have a very frustrating loss last night against the Ravens, which would almost be less frustrating if their starting quarterback did not suffer a high ankle sprain and still at this point is going to be out for an yet-to-be-determined period of time. The Boston Celtics lost their head coach. He's just gone. He was some kind of, at best, sex pest. And as of today, the Boston Red Sox have been eliminated from the playoffs officially.
Woo.
That's right, Jordan. It happened. Surprise, after a real hard-fought wild card chase, the Red Sox have been eliminated. But so a lot of great stuff to talk about today, I gotta tell you. So we're gonna start with the. I mean, we're always gonna start with the Patriots during football season. I don't know if you guys haven't noticed yet the format, which maybe you forgot because again we haven't made an episode in a week and a half, which I very much apologize for. But so yesterday afternoon, the Patriots lost to the Ravens 37-26. And for now, we're not going to talk about the Mac injury notwithstanding. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Pretending that isn't part of the equation right now. Which we can do because this is my show and I can ignore things I don't want to talk about. But that being ignored for the moment. I've gone back and forth thinking about how to look at this game. And it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating because on one hand, very frustrating loss. Lot of bad turnovers. 4 of them, all of them terrible and opportune times. A lot of plays left on the table. And yeah, bad loss. On the other hand, I'm kind of coming around to this line of thought, Jordan, and I know you disagree with me on this. I can already tell this is going to be a patented Jordan moment, killjoy moment, but it's almost like I almost, in a way, if Mac Jones wasn't hurt, because if Mac Jones is hurt for any extended series of time, the season is probably as good as over, and again, we'll talk about that later. But that notwithstanding, it's almost much more encouraging to me. I have more good takeaways from this game and a game like this than I do from them grinding out an ugly, boring win over a bad Steelers team, which we did not talk about. We somehow, we didn't talk about it last week, and maybe we'll sprinkle in some thoughts on that game later, but it's almost like I look at this game and I am of the mind, and this is a take that's really come around over the last year or two, and a departure, my way of thinking. I've come around that for the most part, any game, any significant game, important game that you're going to play, at least in the near future, in the current state of the NFL, the current state of the AFC, it's gonna have to look something like this game on Sunday. It's all these games, all these significant games you're gonna be playing against the real teams, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Dolphins now are a high-powered offense apparently. And by the way, I acknowledge this is a terrible week to start dishing out these takes because all these teams except for the Ravens had very bad weeks offensively, but ignore that and bear with me. All these games you're gonna have to play against these teams are most likely going to devolve into 30-plus point per game shootouts, for the most part. All these offenses, that at least, again, for the important teams that matter when you try and beat them, are extremely high-powered, extremely dynamic. For the most part, you're just not going to build a defense that's going to let you kind of just, run the ball, clock control, win those games. In a serious serious environment. For the most part, at the high level at this point, defenses are not like being built to hold the opponent to 20 points or hold the opponent to 14 points because the QB is Mitch Trubisky. Like your defense at this point is like the device that maybe doesn't let Patrick Mahomes drive the length of the field in 13 seconds. And which is a part of why, by the way, I'll get into it, but like even though obviously like the Patriots like they gave up 37 points, I don't know. I don't give the defense a thumbs down on this game in a lot of sections, and we'll get into that too. But I guess to see the Patriots, if we're doing the positives, 'cause I like to open with the positives, I guess to see the Patriots at least like deep into the fourth quarter be in a position, at least be putting themselves in a position before, they take themselves out of it, putting themselves in a position to win a game like that against what is a legit team. Like the Ravens are like legit. Lamar Jackson's legit. He's back in my tier 1 for quarterbacks, baby. He's back in the top 5. He was out of it for a little bit just because he didn't play, and I don't know, but a lot last year. But he's back. He's back in it, baby. Lamar Jackson is a bad dude. Like I guess like again, like I look at this game and I look at them. The fact like the offense was. I mean, I think at least the best it's been all season. Like like Dolphins, they look terrible against the stupid Steelers where you barely did anything besides have like a really neat clock chewing drive, and like I don't know. Like again, I feel like they looked a lot better except for the turnovers, which they got like I don't know. I guess to me, if you were to ask me, like I just think this is like they lost, but it's just, I don't know. Like again, like I have better. I guess like this, I think there's more to take away from this than there is again like a game against the Steelers, which is just it's you're never gonna play that type of game in any like significant game you're gonna play this season. Like I know that people want to be like, oh no, they're just gonna build up the defense and like run the ball and like clock control. Like no, you don't. Like that puts a massive ceiling on you. And I don't they had some like there was some like there were a lot of good offensive plays. And again, like you look at the numbers. Like, in terms of the raw yardage, the yards per play, the whole thing. Like, the time of possession, they matched the Ravens on a lot of those fronts. However, a series of just horrific interceptions, some of which I think are Mac's fault, some of which seem like maybe scheme issues or miscommunication. Like, the one in the end zone to two of them targeting Devontae Parker, by the way, who had his best game of the season, who actually did something. Last week, I had a bunch of, like, anti-Devontae Parker stats, like, aimed and ready to go. But you know what? Like, better. Still, Mac has 4 picks now targeting Devontae Parker. I don't know what that's about, but Devontae Parker was that. But again, like, they actually, like, they got him going, or to, like, a greater extent, they got, like, some kind of deep passing game going, which they have not. And we're going to talk about whether or not that's actually something they should be emphasizing. But I guess, like, if you're going, like, the games you're going to need to win, like, the important games, like, this is how it's going to have to be. Like, maybe you get lucky and you, like, pull the Chiefs or you pull the Bills or, like, some playoff game and they just have, like, the worst, like, offensive play, like, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes have, like, the worst offensive playoff game of their career. But probably not. Like, that probably doesn't happen, or you can't bank on that happening. Like, this is how most of these elite teams, this is how they're built to win. Because it's just, you can't defend these teams most of the time. Again, terrible week to say that, because all these teams had terrible offensive weeks. But the norm is these teams aren't really, like, stoppable. I'm trying to think of the right word. They're not stoppable, but they're, like, you can, like, hold them down for a period of time. But, like, eventually you just have to be able to keep up with them. You just have to be, like, it's just, you have to be able to, like, just, it's not like a game of chess or checkers anymore, Jordan. It's a game of nuclear warheads colliding with one another. And, like, at a certain point, you just need to, like, win that. So, I don't know. Like, at a bare minimum, again, at the bare minimum, like, the Patriots were putting themselves in something of a position to win. Again, like, you had the fourth quarter. Like, again, as much as you can try and malign the defense for giving up 37 points, like, the Patriots in the fourth quarter, down 31-26, defense forces a turnover. Patriots had the ball. Mac throws a bad interception. Ravens get the ball back, force another punt. Like, Patriots get the ball again. Nelson Aguilar fumbles it. Like, it's just, like, they had the opportunities, and it's just a matter of, like, They just have to like get, which they have not yet, which they have not yet, which is the problem, is that the offense is a mess. But they need to like get themselves to that level, and I don't think they have done enough personnel-wise to put themselves at that level. Like, I just came around on that. Like, I thought they had like some talent on the offense. I still think they do, but it doesn't compare with this. And it's a question of like, in like a couple months, we'll probably be having a conversation if like Mac Jones can at the very least become the level of quarterback that can pilot that kind of offense consistently. But I mean, yeah, like that's just like, again, like this is the kind of game you're going to have to win in like big spots, like for the foreseeable future, like for the, like in the games that really matter against the teams that really matter, like the teams in your division, by the way, who I still think Tua sucks, but like at least Tua has like the weapons that offense can produce at a very significant level with Jalen Waddle, who's on my fantasy team, by the way, God bless him, with Tyreek Hill, who, by the way, I gotta tell you, Jordan, another little positive thing. That week 1 defensive performance looks better and better the more the Dolphins do. I gotta be honest with you. That's a random takeaway. You know, they held him back pretty good, all things considered. But yeah, like this is the kind of game the Patriots have to be able to win. And I guess again, I take more away from this than I do like some boring, stupid win over the Mitch Trubisky-led Steelers. I don't know, Jordan. Like, what are your like initial takeaways from this game?
So I guess defensively, I'll start there because I think that's the most positive thing I can touch upon. Obviously, the Patriots, they're running on fumes. Literally every team in the AFC is better offensively than they are on defense. So they're already going into a mismatch almost every game they're going to play this year, minus the Steelers and questionably the Dolphins. But the Dolphins already beat them, so the Dolphins. Like you said, NFL is kind of devolving into the Big 12 in a sense.
Yeah.
Every game you just got to hammer the 40 over and hope that you get the money line going.
Yeah, it's not about like holding the defense to holding the other offense to like any like respectable score. It's like, hey, it's the fourth quarter. Like, please get a stop. Like they scored 35 points, but get a stop here, and that was a pretty good defensive day. And we'll talk about
the goal is to stop Lamar Jackson for having an 80-yard run where he just doesn't look like he's not even moving fast, but he just glides through your entire secondary and is like, okay, I thought you had the angle, but apparently not.
Yeah, like that's it's.
So I'm much higher on the offense. Corners are playing. They're playing okay. They're playing fine.
Actually, want to know
they
something?
Can kick it up a notch.
Something random. Jonathan Jones has only led up 8 receptions all year. He's actually been doing pretty good on the boundary. I read that today.
So he's okay. So he's doing pretty good.
Jonathan
Matt
Jones
Judon's definitely becoming. He's becoming the anchor. I mean, the pass rush is pretty decent. But that offense is atrocious, man.
Again, Jordan, I'm not even going to call it atrocious. Like today, I don't think is the day to do that. Like I genuinely like here's how this was their best offensive game of the season. I don't know if you agree with me on that. I think it's by a mile.
But Matt Jones threw
the
worst balls.
He did. That's the point. That's what we're gonna get into. Like
incomprehensible interceptions.
Unbelievable. That's what I'm saying.
No, they're not. They weren't contested.
Oh no, like he threw like 4 people with Devontae Parker.
There weren't any like body presses or contact with defensive backs. He just threw them up.
Yeah, no, that's something we're gonna. Again, like I guess, but you see, Jordan, I guess part of the optimism, like part of the reason I can like accept, again, ignoring that he's hurt. We'll talk about that in a minute. I guess like the reason that like I would be willing to entertain some degree of optimism is that I guess I'd almost rather see like the issue be Mac Jones making some poor decisions than like what has been the issues in the last 2 games of the season, which has been the play calling has been atrocious. The scheme has been completely unimaginative. Like this week, like yesterday, they mixed in more play action. They had more dudes, more motion at the line. Like they were doing more good things, not playing Kendrick Bourne more. Kendrick Bourne does not play that much, but outside, some things that they've been doing wrong were better. And I guess it's almost like I'd rather see Mac struggle and make some like just a couple bonehead plays because I feel more confident in Mac Jones correcting those and going back to like the type of player that like he's been in the past than I do in Matt Patricia becoming a competent offensive coordinator, because I haven't seen it. But no, there was like some bad Mac
I
Jones
disagree because Mac Jones, he didn't make these throws last year.
No, he did, but that's what I'm saying. Like
last year.
I can see him like going.
This is a regression.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying I can see
scheming.
him getting back to being the guy who doesn't do this. Because I've seen him be the guy who doesn't do this. That's my point. Like he's been that guy before, so thusly, I don't think it's crazy to say he can go back to being that guy. However,
now with Joe Judge and Matt Patricia running the offense, which is that's the biggest problem. They need an actual offensive coordinator.
I'll be honest, though, like I don't know if I can attribute like any of the, at least in this game, to the scheme. Like throwing into the
I mean, the only way I can rationalize is that he feels like he has to try to play hero ball. That's the only way.
No, I can agree with that. And there was some of that. Like Mac was running around a lot in this game. Like Mac was running around, like he was taking some hits, which you don't love, and that's a part of it. And it's just, and something that some stats that I have pulled up. This is from Evan Lazar, who I read religiously, and he works Patriots.com now, formerly of one of my old haunts, CLNS. Is that and this you could probably eye test this, but the average, I guess the exact stat is the average air yards per attempt. Like the average like throw distance. For Mac is up over 2 yards this season from last year. It was at 8.3 last year. Now it's been at 10.4 through the season. And like a way more like 20-yard plus yard attempts. Like they are having Mac or Mac himself, they're having Mac throw deep more. Or just throw like bigger plays, which before this game was not working at all. It worked much better in this game. Again, like they had way more explosive plays in this game. Like, if anything, just from Devontae Parker alone, who had 5 catches, 156 yards, was it? 156, yep. Like way more big plays. And a part of me, I don't like the way they've been approaching having Mac throw the ball deep a lot. But there's a lot of 50-50 balls this year, Jordan. Just a lot of just chucking balls up to dudes and just having him jump up and get him, which again had not worked until this game, where it worked except for the times when it didn't, which some of them led to picks.
Jake, I've seen every game the Patriots have played, Mac Jones has thrown a pick in the end zone.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
And even honestly, even worse than those, the one he threw to that like Patrick Queen dropped right on the goal line, unbelievable. Yeah. Oh, unbelievable. That I think was worse than any of the picks, honestly. But second game in a row with a dropped pick too. That could have been a pick 6, but. No, I completely agree with you. No, like Mac's decision making hasn't been good this year. Whether it is a product of Mac Jones personally regressing, or like the play calling being bad, or Mac Jones not having faith in the play, like whatever it is, that's been a factor this year. And the way they've been having him go about trying to make more explosive plays, like again, like all the 50-50 balls to Devontae Parker, which again started working at a point. I don't love the way they've been doing that, but after I read these stats, like I've kind of come around on it too, though, to a certain extent, that just like I get it. Like I get like just on the premise alone of like we need to start like getting Mac going at trying to make like more of these big plays, more of these just like explosive throws. Like if we are, which I don't think this is why they're doing it, which is the bad part, because I don't think Belichick thinks this is true, and I don't think Matt Patricia thinks this is true, but I think this is true, that if this team is gonna, do what they're gonna do, like compete with these guys, like at a certain point, like Mac can't just be Mr. Efficient, Mr. Safe. Like they need to start making these big throws. Like Mac has to become capable of doing that. And if there are going to be growing pains with that, which there have been, because some of these balls have not looked good and some of the decisions have not been good. But again, like I understand you do need to at some point to compete with the Chiefs, compete with the Ravens, compete with the Bills, hell, compete with the high finning Dolphins. Did you hear that, Jordan? I said finning instead of flying because they're a dolphin. But if they're gonna compete with that, they just like they have to add these explosive elements to their offense. And like it's if it is some pain in Mac Jones learning that, like I guess you have to accept it. Like they can't do what they've been doing and just have that be the entire solution. But like to that extent, like I guess I don't like the approach. I don't even necessarily know if that is their philosophy, but like they have to get Mac go. Like Mac has to, whether or not it's fair to Mac Jones to put that on his shoulders, like realistically for them to like compete long term, like at some point, like they need to have like these dynamic elements to their offense, and they have clearly not done a good enough job of getting him the type of weapons to let him do that, his limitations notwithstanding. But like I kind of get it. Like I don't think the way to do that is chuck the ball deep to Devontae Parker downfield 10 times a game. But like I don't like it, but also again like having just like nice little ball control, run heavy offense. Like I don't think that works. I don't think that's like gonna let you get anywhere like in the long term. So like you gotta like hope that you can get Mac to morph and evolve into like I don't know, like a more dynamic player. Like just hope that you can get him to this point where he's like able to make more of these dynamic plays. And if part of that is that like in the short term, like the more you gotta like swallow some of it, I guess you do. I just wish that they had somebody more competent trying to bring him along in this. But yesterday, though, Bill Belichick, did we not talk about this, Jordan? Like, I think the Bill Belichick seizing of the offense has started because I think it was Mike Reese, maybe it was Greg Bedard, one of them put out that Bill Belichick did not even talk to Steve Belichick the last game. He was talking to everybody on the offense. He was talking to Matt Patricia. He was like in the offense like the whole game. He was right on. He was right there with him. He was not even paying a lick of attention to the defense, which probably for the best. And again, clearly led to what I think was their best offensive game of the season. The Mac mistakes notwithstanding, but again, I just think like that's what is on. Jordan, do you agree with like all of whatever you would call what I just said?
I mean, I agree with you. Like eventually, if you wanna be successful, if you want to compete in the NFL, you have to go downfield. You have to make the deep plays, the very dynamic ooh-ah plays, the spectacular catches, all that stuff. They don't have the personnel.
No,
they don't have any weapons. They're designed for the dink and dunk and the Amandre Stevenson give you 6 yards of carry. That's the offense they have.
I mean, even Amandre Stevenson at least like I think him playing more this week was like an attempt at like adding more of that because he's clearly at least like more explosive than Damian Harris. At least my eye. So I don't know. Like it's just they're trying to move away from like the power game. They're trying to bring in Ramondre, who just I think can like kind of like give you a little bit more of an outside element. Like I don't know, but
like what the hell is this offense trying to be? It confuses me every time I watch it. I don't know what they're trying to be. I don't know who they are. I don't know why they have these guys. It's like I said earlier. It's so mid, and they really can't do anything particularly well.
No, I think what it is that like on like a broader sense, I think you have a situation where Bill Belichick, and to an extent, I believe this for a long time. And I don't believe it anymore. But I mean, like Bill Belichick believed that he could win with like a good, not great offense, like with the ability to just play, like just the ability to control the field position, play the time of possession, yada, 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 yada. I think he probably still does believe to a certain extent that he can win with that. And like, then like the rest of it just being coaching and scheme and defense and playing good on.
You can do that when you have Tom Brady.
I don't think you can because I think when you have Tom Brady, you're not doing that. You have an elite offense.
I mean, yes, if inherently Tom Brady be on your offense makes it elite, but like,
yes.
Yeah, Tom Brady can play that game.
But at the point you have Tom Brady, so you can do all this. But anyway, let me go on. I think to a certain extent, Belichick believed that, or still does believe that, and he's constructed the team. Even like Mac Jones, like I don't know, it wasn't viewed as one of these like uber dynamic kind of guys coming out of college. He was viewed as like what he was last year, maybe a little bit better. But I think that maybe they're starting to recognize that that's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I don't know. They're just trying to do more, which is good. Which maybe that's part of the slow recognition. Like maybe this offseason they actually go out and try and like not get good weapons, but try and like maybe like okay, like now we need to go get like some like legit guys like the Eagles, who I don't know what we think about Jalen Hurts. Yeah, like I don't know if Jalen Hurts is like truly like a great quarterback, but
Jalen Hurts is looking insane.
But he has great weapons. That's my like they got him some weapons though. Like whether or not it's him or just the offense he's in, like he's got some, like Tua. I still think sucks. I still think the way Dolphins have been playing has not changed my stance on Tua at all. Still think Tua is terrible. But you just gotta get the ball to Tyreek Hill. Like if he runs by a defense, he can get the ball to them. Like most dudes, like I couldn't do that. I can't throw a football very far. But if I could get it to him. But I don't know. Like it's just like, and this is kind of gonna be like this is it now. Like, are the Patriots as they are currently governed going to be willing to kind of, make the adaptations that they need to make? Because clearly this offseason they didn't. And it's only week 3, by the way, in fairness. But we talked about it like they didn't. This offseason they kind of rejected like the trend of every team trading for like a top 10 wide receiver. Or most of the league doing it. They seem to reject that, and they didn't want to invest the assets in that and invest them in other ways, and just traded for like Devontae Parker because like, well, Devontae Parker is a discount. He's a deal. Why would we trade for Tyreek Hill when we could just get Devontae Parker at a discount? Come on, guys, and we'll just do. And so far has not worked out. Again, in fairness, this was Devontae Parker's best game. Devontae Parker played great this week, but like they gotta like I don't know. Like they gotta.
They don't have a number 1 receiver.
No, they don't.
For their young, developing second-year quarterback.
No, and maybe Tyquan Thornton.
Nor a consistent offensive scheme.
Maybe Tyquan Thornton's that dude, my guy. Maybe Tyquan Thornton, but he's not there yet. Like,
I mean, if he is, that would be great. But when is he coming? 2 more weeks? 3 more weeks?
Something like that. He might be back before Mac now. Like.
I mean, shit. That you just end up in the same spot.
Which again,
I mean, unless the hard-nosed vet Brian Hoyer can sneak a few by.
Yeah, who cares? Like now we're just here. Like now we're just, and now Mac might be out for some. It hasn't come out yet. If it comes out after we post the show, I'll be very sad. But he gets a high ankle sprain. Like Mike Girardi tweeted that like the way they're wording it means there's probably some kind of tear. Well, too bad. I'll put out there. It's been called a pretty severe high ankle sprain. The hope is that he won't need surgery. Which
that doesn't sound like an ankle sprain to me.
No, like a sprain can also like tear a ligament. But like without
that's a torn ligament, then not
hurting the bone. I don't know. Somebody explained it to me, and I'm like, fine, whatever. Bad ankles. His ankle. By the way, I don't know if you saw any of the photos of him like being brought into the tunnel. But like,
I have not.
Oh, there were like a couple of photos that I saw on Twitter of him like going, and he was dude was writhing. Dude, if you like zoomed in on his face, dude was in tears. Like dude was in pain. Dude hurt. So I just see.
If they're talking about surgery, it's much worse than an ankle sprain.
Oh well, like a really bad ankle sprain can still need surgery, I guess. But like there are like different degrees of like it's not like twisting your like he didn't like fall down wrong and like a rock and like twist his ankle. He's like I gotta like walk this off. Like there are like levels to these things. But anyway, not good. But which again sucks because again you have like their best offensive game. Like there again like if I'm trying to be like Bill Belichick, like there are like you can go in there and be like all right, like there are like things to build on. Like again, like we were in position to win this game if we didn't make moronic turnovers. But that's I guess that's more fixable than just your offense not functioning entirely. It's like all right, like hey, we don't like throw 3 picks in the second half, and we were in position. Like we had the ball down 1 possession in the fourth quarter, not once, twice. Like maybe when we're going for it on 4th and 3, maybe next time we don't throw it to Kendrick Bourne like in the flat instead of kick a field goal. For no, maybe we just make any other decision besides specifically like throw it to Kendrick Bourne in the flat on a when we have a chance to, go up. We have a chance to like, but just again, like there's stuff to build. Like I feel that way. At least I feel like you could like look. I feel like after the first 2 games, I don't know how you can't look at this game as a step forward. I got to be honest with you, but like you're not taking a step forward without Mac Jones. Like that doesn't matter. Like that is all like back to square one, which just sucks. Like I don't even like really have like anybody to I don't even like really have anybody to like blame for it. I don't even necessarily like. I think they did an okay job like protecting Mac overall. Like, but it just sucks. Like it just that's the take, Jordan. It sucks. It sucks that he's like if he misses any significant amount of time, it's like I don't know. Like I don't know what your confident level in Brian Hoyer is, but I sure don't think they're beating the Packers with Brian Hoyer.
I mean, I told you to just start Zappy. Like
maybe you do. I mean, they won't. They won't.
I mean, because if he needs surgery and he's going to be out for 8-9 weeks, the season's a wash.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Throw Zappy in there and see what he can do.
Oh, 100.
Maybe there's something there.
Oh, I'm right with you. I'm right there with you on that. But like, it's like, but what if it's like 3 weeks? Like, what if it's like a 3-week kind of deal? Like, no surgery. He's got like 3 weeks. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they're beating the Packers in Green. I don't think they were beating the Packers in Green Bay with him. Like, the Packers defense has actually looked pretty legit. Like, again, the week where I'm like, you can't stop these offenses, the Packers and Bucks combined for like 26 points. This is a horrible week for me to be giving out this take, but it's my take. I'm going to stick with it. But I don't think you beat the Packers.
I mean, to be fair about the Packers, like Aaron Rodgers will come out in the second half and he'll throw a hissy fit and won't throw it to his wide receivers and they'll stop scoring.
Okay.
Like he's done all previous 3 games.
But I don't think you're doing anything with Brian Hoyer.
Because Aaron Rodgers is a child.
Like, there was a point when I thought you could beat the Lions. I think the Lions are averaging like 30 points per game right now. Like,
the Lions are actually, they might be one of the best scoring offensives in the.
What the Lions scored 30, 36. They scored 38 points, 36 points, and 24. I don't know what that averages out to, but pretty high.
Around 30. They might just be the NFL scoring leaders because no one else is scoring that much.
I bet on the Steel Lions this week. I'm not gonna tell you about the parlay they were a part of, but I bet on them at +6.5, and I was right. But no, it's like, I don't like, again, like, if Mac Jones is only out for a couple of weeks, like, I think you stick with Hoyer. But again, it's like, I don't know. You lose this game, you lose next week. Like, then you're in Cleveland against the Browns. Like, I don't know. What if you are like 1-5 when Matt comes back like that? Like, then what? Like, then what? Like, what does the season become at that point? Like, do you go in the tank? Like, do you just tank for a draft? I don't even know how this team tanks. Like, I don't even have like a way that this team really tanks. Is that like, even if I was like, well, maybe they tank, and I'm like, well, like, who are like the young guys that like you want to get like a look?
They have nothing to sell.
So like, well, I mean, you could sell stuff, but it's like, I don't. But like, beyond that, it's like, I don't know, like, what, like, who are like the young guys that you're like,
you gonna get back like a second and third for Matt Judon, your best defensive player?
Why not? I don't know. Yeah. Hey, by the way, random thing, Dietrich Wise had 3 sacks in this game.
Oh,
Dietrich Wise got that captaincy, and he's balling now. But no, it's like, I don't like. Do you go in the tank? Because I don't think you're capable. Like, I just don't know like what like the tank looks like. Like, I don't think you stop starting Mac Jones. Like, you keep starting him, and I think you keep starting all the guys around him because you want to like maybe get the offense like going somehow, just to build on something. But it's like, then it's like, I don't know.
At some point, you have to fire Matt Patricia and Joe Judge and go get a real offensive coordinator.
But do we just hold out?
That's the number one solution.
Do we just hold out hope that like McDaniels keeps losing and the Raiders get rid of him after 1 year, and they just cycle him back?
There were talks that he and Mark Davis had a
little meeting.
Had a nice little long conversation.
Who knows what it could have been about? Could have been about like helicopters for all I know, but
it could have been.
But yeah, it's like maybe that happens. Right? Because the problem is all these things I say about like building on it or like helping like Mac like add elements to his game. They don't have the guys to do it. Like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Everything
Jake,
about this.
I told you they're trying to sabotage Mac Jones.
I don't think they're intentionally.
And you didn't believe me.
Oh, I don't think they're intentionally doing it, but they're certainly doing it.
Sabotaging him.
Like, there's, oh my God, like, it's just
inadvertently so, perhaps, but they are
at the very least
him.
They are entering like the super soft spot of their schedule right now. Because after the Packers, they play the Lions, the Browns, who without Deshaun Watson, I mean, they've been doing okay, but I don't think that highly of them.
The Lions can smoke them.
What?
I said the Lions can smoke that Pats team.
The Lions, the Browns, the Bears suck. The Jets, I still think suck. Like, the Colts haven't looked that good, then the Jets again. Like, you would think, like, maybe, like, you're like, okay, like, this is kind of like a weak part of the schedule. Like, this is maybe when, like, you start getting going there. But, you can talk yourself into, like, there have been plenty of years where the Patriots haven't looked good in September. Bill Belichick loves to tell you, like, oh, no, September is just an extended part of the preseason. Like, it's fine. We get things right. You're like, oh, maybe, like, you get going. Last year, kind of what happened. They played some random games against the Jets. Suddenly they got going, and suddenly they were on track. But Like this would be the beating, like the Lions defense hasn't been good. So even if like you lose that game, like I don't know, like you play like a couple of bad defenses, you beat up on them, like you start humming, you get some confidence. Maybe you do something. You know, beating up on the Jets has traditionally worked out nicely for this. Sometimes it gets you going, but without Mac Jones, you can't even do that. Like what does it matter if Brian? Like I don't think Brian Hoyer's doing anything. I think Brian Hoyer sucks. Brian Hoyer hasn't won a start since 2016. Did you know that?
I believe that, but how many times has he started since 2016?
I was just looking it up. I had a bunch of starts with the Bears. Remember he was on the Bears for a while?
Yes, I do actually.
I'm pulling it up. Yep, he played in. Oh yeah, he was in San Francisco for 6 games in 2017. Started 6 games, lost 6 games. Played for the Patriots. Played on Indy. Started 1 game, lost it. Lost the game the Cam Newton year against the Chiefs where he forgot how many timeouts there were. And yeah, that's it. So 8. He's gone. He's lost 8. Last 8 starts. And he only won 1 start in 2016 of 5. He was 1-4. So he is 4 plus 8. He's 1-12 in his last 13 starts. So Brian Hoyer. And by the way, again, Jordan, there was a point in my life where I believed that Bill Belichick could like do something with even like subpar quarterback play. I thought it. I believed it. I just thought I believed in the whole thing. I was like, whatever. He's smart. You get the offense going. You get the run game. You do the whole thing. You could make something happen. I'm so out on that. I'm so beyond that. And partially maybe because my faith in Bill Belichick has been racked a little bit. It's been racked over the last couple of years. It's just, and also just I don't think just not even a Bill Belichick thing. Just in general, like it's just the league is just like most of these offenses. Like, you're not really playing any of the super explosive ones, thankfully. Like, again, maybe you can beat, like, you probably can beat the Browns with Brissett, or the Bears, or the Jets scoring, like, 17 points with Brian Hoyer. And maybe they luck out and the record's okay. But but then what, you're having Mac come back, and, like, now you're playing, like, the Vikings and the Bills. And it's just, it just sucks. The whole thing's so bad. Every time anything good, anytime I have anything, any iota of positivity this year, Jordan, the Patriots take it away. I was all in on Tyquan Thornton. He gets hurt. The offense maybe looked pretty good. No, Mac's hurt. Mac's sprained his ankle. Sorry. They can't even let me cope in peace, Jordan. To their own benefit. They can't even give me that. Oh my God, it's so frustrating. Miles Bryant fumbled the opening kickoff, 2nd game in a row. You weren't watching for that. Do you remember how against the Steelers he did that? Mm-hmm. Did it again this game. He recovered it, but I don't know why Miles Bryant. That's just a random annoyance of mine. I don't even know why. But again, it's like I look at this game with the Ravens. It's frustrating because like this again, like that's the blueprint. Like I'm not like I know I've been like maybe like a little maybe. I know you felt like maybe I've given the defense a little bit too much credit this year, but I'm gonna double down. Like I know they gave up 37 points, but again, I don't look at it and I'm like, wow, what a bad performance. Like they had chances. Like the Patriots had chances to take the lead deep into this game. Like they held them to 14 points in the first half before the Ravens came out and were like, all right, now Lamar is actually gonna run a little bit, and then they started taking over because again, it's just all these offenses are so dynamic, all these quarterbacks are so dynamic that's like you're not going to hold them to a complete game no-show unless you do, which happened a lot this week, but it doesn't matter. It's week 3. Who cares? Like you're not going to hold them. You're not going to stop them. You can hold them down for periods of time, but eventually, like Lamar Jackson, he's going to reach into his bag of tricks, which is every trick. He's going to find something that you can't stop. Like what defense can stop everything Lamar Jackson can do for 60 minutes? No defense ever is going to be able to stop a dude who can lead the league in passing yards, lead the league in passing touchdowns, be the number 4 guy in rushing yards, while still throwing 77% of his passes from the pocket. Like it's you're not going to stop it over the long term. So the way you beat it is by you don't play checkers. You're like, oh, our scheme's really good. Ooh, we're playing clock control. No, you throw your nuclear warhead against their nuclear warhead, and you just hope that your mushroom cloud's bigger. Like, that's it. That's how it is right now. Maybe it changes. Like, maybe in 10 years, like, there's some rule changes, or, like, somebody figures out some new way to play defense, or something, and the pendulum swings back to... Probably not, but maybe... But as it is right now, as it stands, like... Like, we are truly living in the Big 12ification of the NFL, and we have for years, and the Patriots, they just haven't adapted. The Patriots have just not, like, they've just chosen to go in a completely different direction, and as of now, it's not working for them. Like, it's clearly, like, not, clearly it's not the way. And it's just, and I'm at the point now where, like, unless you can either, and I don't want to get too much into, like, the Mac Jones future stuff, but it's, you either, like, unless you either develop your guy into one of these hyper dynamic quarterbacks / offenses, or you find a guy who's one of those super dynamic quarterbacks / offenses, you're just gonna always be an also-ran. Like, you're just, like again, there's always like some team that's able to like sneak in and maybe make a little bit of noise. Like the Titans a couple of these years, like Ravens with Joe Flacco. Like, it happens. Like, somebody does it, but it's just, you're not gonna win consistently doing that. You're just not. You will not win consistently year to year, let alone week to week, until you can build that out. And that's really always been the case, by the way. It's always been the team. It's not like this is a new thing entirely. It's always been the teams that had elite quarterbacks that always won. Like you with Tom Brady, like, Peyton Manning's, even like Roethlisberger's problem. Like, the elite quarterbacks usually like are the ones who are consistently there. But now it's even more extreme. Like, it's just every team is just building themselves. At least every team should just be building themselves to be able to score 35 points a game. Like, that's the model now. Whether you do that through getting the uber elite quarterback, or you do that through, like, getting a quarterback and then getting him a bunch of weapons. But right now, the Patriots don't have either. Like, Mac Jones isn't that guy yet, or maybe he will never be that guy, and we'll have to reckon with that at some point. And they haven't gotten him the weapons. Like, again, they've given him pretty good weapons, but not great weapons. Like, his weapons don't stack up to the Eagles, the Bills, the Ravens, who I was wrong about, by the way. There was a point when I thought, like, the Ravens did not have a good receiving core. But I just kind of, I don't know, was entirely ignoring Mark Andrews, and also he didn't do much of anything in this game. But my God, I've been like watching a lot of Rashad Bateman film recently, and that dude is so good. That dude is so Jordan. We did the show last week. I was going to talk so much about how good Rashad Bateman is. Rashad Bateman is sick. And again, if you don't have the weapons, they have Lamar Jackson, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, I do know. I don't know, and I'm laying out like a 12-point plan for being a winning team in the NFL. That's it now. That's the model. And at least the Patriots, again, the positive side of it, like the Patriots, like, we're closer to winning with that model last week than they've been all season, or this past Sunday than they've been all season. But it wasn't enough. Like, a lot of those holes are still there. And again, like, I don't know. Like, if they at least had like an offensive play call that I had some confidence in, I'd feel better. I would. Like, if they had like just anybody. If it was a guy I'd never heard of, they brought back like Chad O'Shea, or just like like Bill O'Brien was there. I'd be like, all right, like, I think they could build on this. Like there's stuff to build on, and there is stuff to build on. But I don't think Matt Patricia's gonna be the guy to do it. I think he's going to somehow blame Kendrick Bourne and give him less snaps last week. Which, by the way, Jordan, did I not call you before the game, say Jacoby Myers isn't playing? Call me tomorrow when Lil Jordan Humphrey somehow plays 50%, plays 80% of the snaps, and Kendrick Bourne doesn't? Did I not say that?
You did verbatim say that, but you were joking. But that was reality.
I was joking. Nope. Lil Jordan Humphrey, preseason sensation. Glad he's on the team. Played 54 snaps, and Kendrick Bourne played 18, because in part they just refused to play Kendrick Bourne on non-passing plays. Like last year, he only played. I found this number last year. Kendrick Bourne played 77% of his snaps on passing plays, which is still like I just don't like that. It feels predictable. But Matt Patricia has gone way further than that. Like, another element of this, by the way, is that like they're running like 80. I forget exactly what numbers are, but they're running like 90% of the time out of certain sets. They're passing 90% of the time out of certain sets. So, they're on top of not having like the high-end talent, they're also making themselves incredibly predictable. But yeah, no, Kendrick Bourne, like 93% of his snaps this season have been on passing plays. So they just do not view him as a player to put out there on rushing plays. They just don't view him as like a hard-nosed blocker, like all-star wide receiver blocker N'Keal Harry, but yeah, no. Again, I really, Jordan, I could be positive. We could be positive. I still think there are things to be positive about, but Mac Jones getting hurt just puts a damper on literally everything. Like the entire season. Like the season might be, I don't know. Yeah, if Mac Jones is out. Okay, Jordan, what's your over-under for how many weeks Mac Jones, like, what would be your number? What's your over-under for the number where if Mac Jones is out for that number of weeks, like you're like the season's dead? What's your number, Jordan?
4.
I think at 4 I'd still cope. I think at 4 I'd be like, well, maybe they can like go. No, seriously, I'm like, I think if it was 4, I could maybe in some reality talk myself into them going like 2-2 against the Packers, Lions, Browns, and Bears. But also that would be winning more games than they have all season. More so, I think I could talk myself into them beating the Browns and Bears. Or at the very least go, well, maybe the Packers like once a year bizarre game they drop to absolute trash will be against Brian Hoyer and the Patriots. Like maybe they'll just get the benefit of being that. Because they do it once every year, Jordan. The Packers always have one horrific loss every year. And I'm like, well, maybe like outside of week 1, they always have like a bad week 1, then they have like one more horrific loss. Like it'll be us. Maybe the Brian Hoyer Patriots will be that one. Maybe. Probably. That's not grounded in any reality or any analysis of the teams.
This is the ultimate copium.
Oh yeah, we're deep in it. Oh, we're deep in it, Joe. Oh, this is what being bad is like. Whatever freaking blood oath like Bill Belichick / like the New England sports world like paid. It's coming back collecting on it, baby. It's whatever forces that be that determine the whatever like demons that write the NFL script. They are collecting. So that's, I don't know. You have any? I don't know. Let's do predictions for Patriots, Packers. My under over for that. Yeah, I don't know. 5, 4.5. I'll put the line at 4.5. Well, I'm saying like tell me, like let us know. Tweet at us if the over under for
I'm hammering the under.
Hammering the under. That's fair. I got a Twitter update. Nope. The Twitter update is that with Hurricane Ian, it was a Schefter. I was hoping it was on Mac Jones. With Hurricane Ian looming, the Buccaneers are evacuating Tampa. And they're going to spend the week at the Dolphins facility. Oh, they better keep their eye on Brady. Oh, the Buccaneers.
Where's this hurricane hitting it that they can just go from Tampa to Miami and still be fine?
Away from each other. There's like some space.
Like but it's a hurricane. It's not.
I mean, sometimes they only really hit like one concentrated
normally they hit like the entire state. Is it just like breezing by Tampa and like curving into like
gotta ask
Louisiana or Mississippi?
Gotta ask the Doppler guys about that. I have no idea. But yeah, they better keep a close eye on Brady down there. Like, hey, where's Brady? Where's Stephen Ross? Hey, why are the docks so empty all of a sudden? What's going on? Why is the marina so barren all of a sudden? But yeah, no. So, my score for the Pack. Right, predictions. Assuming it's Brian Hoyer, I doubt he plays this week. I could not imagine Mac Jones plays this week. So assuming it's Brian Hoyer. I don't have like any. Again, it's Monday. I kind of like this. Like, I kind of almost like this earlier in the week, so we can just kind of talk about the past game because I like analyzing the game more than I like talking about the upcoming games. I gotta be honest with you. I like that. I feel like there's a little bit more meat on that bone. But yeah, Packers. Unless you have any like big takes on like Packers Patriots, Jordan. Do you have any like big things you wanna? Any real keys of the game you want to hammer like 6 days before the game?
Okay, I mean, if the Patriots are going to win this game, they have to win it in the first half. If they go into, if they, I don't think they can play comeback with the Packers.
No, absolutely not. No, if they get down by more than like 10 points, I'm like, well, you're done. I don't know how confident I feel about this with Mac Jones. I don't think you're scoring.
I mean, even if Aaron Rodgers throws a hissy fit and says, you rookie wide receivers, you young guns suck. Yeah, Remember back in my day, we had Donald Driver and all these other guys and Jordy Nelson. Maybe, you guys are not.
Yeah, maybe Aaron Rodgers just leaves.
Maybe
he just leaves. Maybe that's how like the second quarter he gets mad and just like leaves the stadium. Oh god, like Jordan, I want to sit here and just do like 30 minutes of like Aaron Rodgers slander on like a personal level, but I don't have it in me today. Like I have so much else that's like bringing me down. I can't even. Last night when I was with some friends watching the game and then the Packers, Patriots game, the Packers Buccaneers game came on. I was a couple pumpkin beers and a couple of eggnogs and Irish creams deep, and I just started, as I often do, stone cold sober, like just ranting and raving about my personal vendetta against Aaron Rodgers. And some of my friend's girlfriend had to look at me and was like, "Why do you have so much hate Where does all that hate come from? I'm like, you don't get it. You don't understand. You don't know anything about him.
He said you don't know what he's done.
You don't know this. Somebody has to hold him accountable for his sins. All right, Jesus. But yeah, okay.
But
I don't know.
the Packers should win this game handily, and it should not be close.
You know what? I gotta be honest. They've not really been scoring. Let me see. Let me think. Give me your score prediction.
I'll go 22-12.
Okay, I was gonna say I kind of want to do like a low score. I don't even necessarily know if it's gonna be like a high score, just because the Packers have not been scoring a lot this year, and I don't know. Again, the Patriots defense has still been like passable. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just do the same thing. I don't know. 2010. I'm gonna go 2010. I think the Patriots score less, and I think that the I don't know, either Aaron Rodgers like gets mad and stops caring, or they just hold to him. So that's our prediction. And I'm picking again with Brian. If Mac plays, I don't know. I don't even want to give I don't really even want to do like a Mac prediction. That feels like jinxing it. But okay, that's that's football. Anything else in the NFL happened this week that you like, Jordan?
That Dolphins 49ers game was atrocious.
You mean 49ers Broncos game?
49ers Broncos game was atrocious. Yes, my mistakes. Lamar Jackson is very good. Jalen Hurts is also very good.
Jalen Hurts is very good, or at the very least, the offense they put around him is very good. They've done.
I don't know what's going on with that Eagles. Like I knew they were going to be better this year than they were last year.
They got so many dudes. Like just the offense is they just got all the weapons.
They're just doing whatever they want, and it's
how could they? I mean, you look at
fun.
Again, it's just it's such a dynamic offense. Like it's just they got AJ Brown, they got Devontae Smith, they even got Dallas Gobert on my fantasy team, by the way. Like they have the whole thing. Like they have the whole package. Like Jalen Hurts can move around, like he can make some plays. Like again, we'll see what his ceiling is, but he's certainly he's feeding them the ball. You know? Like it's either you have an elite quarterback or you have elite weapons, and that's it. Like looking at every team leading every division except for the Browns, who are 2-1 for some reason.
And the Dolphins had the most improbable victories I've ever encountered statistically in the game.
That one was odd. The Dolphins are still think Tua sucks, but they might have a real team. They might have a real coach. But yeah, I mean, literally, not to keep pounding his agenda, but I'm looking at all the division leaders right now. Dolphins, elite weapons. Chiefs, elite quarterback. Browns, I'm going to pretend they're not leading and that the Ravens are leading. What?
Yeah. I said the Chiefs kind of have elite weapons.
Yeah, but they have lesser. Their weapons have gone down a little. They don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. They still have Kelsey. But yeah, fine, fair enough. But they still have the quarterback. Jaguars, you know what? Trevor Lawrence is pretty good. Nobody in that division has any of those things. But Eagles, elite weapons. Rams, elite weapons. Vikings, elite weapons. Buccaneers, elite quarterback. Probably elite weapons when they're not beating up corners when they lock them up. But
yeah.
But yeah, they got Cole Beasley now, baby. They got no jab Beasley. They got COVID positive Beasley.
Oh, that was good.
Why didn't I think about that 2 years ago?
I don't know.
COVID denier, that's good. Oh God, where was I in 2020 with these scorchers?
Oh yeah. Also, very very final thing. For the love of God, stop running Josh Allen, please.
They're gonna get him killed, aren't they? Oh, somebody made the point.
So nervous.
Oh, they're gonna Cam Newton. If they Cam Newton, if he's like Cam Newton in 6-7 years, are we gonna be shocked?
No, but I look at him. I'm like, please stop it, Sean McDermott. Stop him, please.
I just think that's him. I don't even know it's necessarily Sean McDermott. I think that's just him. That's just what they do with him. If he's
just tell him to stop. Tell him to stop trying to run over linebackers and doing
so
it.
Much. If he's like Cam Newton in 4 or 5 years, it's not going to be shocking.
Like his arm talent's phenomenal. Just please let him throw some, and please hand the ball off. Please, you have Devin Singletary. Please use Devin Singletary more.
But yeah, no, maybe that's the one hope of Patriots fans. Maybe it won't be 20 years of Josh Allen dominance. Maybe it'll be 4 or 5, and then he's oh man, his shoulder's popping out every season now because he's been putting his shoulder directly into Quentin Williams for 5 years. Might be a little sore now. Might not be like
So
a
yeah,
17.
I try to run through defensive linemen. I don't care.
But yeah, no,
Josh
so that's
Allen.
happening. The Pro Bowl's gone. We mourn the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl's now going to be flag football because kids these days are too soft to understand the importance of playing two-hand touch football with like rap. They've gone from rap to which, by the way, I think rap is like I don't know. I don't like two-hand, right? Like there are a lot of reasons I want to like rap more than two-hand touch, but it's also like the most like subjective like variant, you know, like I kind of like rap because rap you can still like put like some moves on some guys, but it's also like what's a rap? What like constitutes a rap? Like that's like just asking for a fight, you know, like it's just asking for
Yeah, and I've played some games of backyard football where rapping where things gone left very quickly.
Oh yeah, also some dude might just but see, I'd rather that though. I'd rather just dudes like tackle each other by mistake than like kind of rap but not really rap. It's like, oh, I rapped him. No, I didn't. It's like, like now we're like can't bring like replay out here. Like yeah,
And
like
who knows? I maybe like the skills challenges and like
I don't know.
maybe the flag football. It might just be more
I
entertaining.
probably won't watch any of it, I'll be honest.
I'll check it out this year because it's new,
Omaha Productions is running the skills challenge, I think.
Oh boy! What?
Peyton
See, look at that. Payne, and Eli. They're interesting people.
Peyton's gonna be in the new Santa Claus TV show. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, they're making a new. They brought Tim Allen back. They're doing a Santa Claus, not a movie, Jordan, because they don't do movies anymore. They're doing a Disney Plus series. About
you see Eli Manning when he went undercover as Chad Powers.
I did. It was fine. I don't think it was that funny. I gotta be honest. Can I be a hater?
A little bit.
I felt kind of bad for everybody else who was trying out. Felt a little bad. I'm like, all right, well, some poor kid.
Yeah,
like,
Eli was washing him a little bit.
Just trying to walk on the Penn State, and now it's just a cartoon now. Like, oh, that's tough. Sucks to be you.
Like, yeah, he was gassing him a little bit.
I turned down like a D2 offer to come be a preferred walk-on at Penn State. Like I'm gonna bet on myself. Like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, I'm just on a comedy skit now. That's great.
So it's future Hall of Famer Eli Manning.
but yeah, so that was. You think anybody didn't recognize it was Eli Manning?
I find it very unlikely.
You see, I think about that a lot though. Like it's something I think about a lot. Like recognizing like people in like kind of obvious disguises. Like it seems obvious when you know, right? Like when you know, you're like, well, obviously that's Eli Manning. But like, it's like the Superman.
Even if you figure it out, I think you just gotta like, okay, we're doing a bit right now.
Right, but like, how would you figure it out? Like. But it's like the Superman thing, right? Like somebody pointed this out to me one time. Like you think it's obvious that he's Superman if you know he's Superman. But it's almost like if you saw anybody, like if you saw this dude and you're like, that's Eli Manning, and then you ask like, are you Eli Manning? And he says no. Like you kind of believe him, right? Like that's absurd. Otherwise, I think it's not like think it's Eli Manning. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
If like if you like worked at like any job, Jordan, and like, well, you work for the government, so it's kind of a little more like, say you didn't work for the government, say you worked at like, I don't know, like you were like a backhoe operator, I don't know.
Okay.
And like then a dude showed up, and he was like the new guy, and he was like very obviously Obama. Like just looked exactly like Barack Obama. But then you're like, are you Obama? And he said no. And like, he just came to work every day. Like he had a whole life he told you about. Like he seemingly had like an apartment in the area, like the whole thing. And you're like, "Are you Obama?" And he's like, "Oh no." You just be like, "Oh, I guess he's not." Like, what am I, an insane person?
The Saturday Night Live sketch with Kylo Ren on Undercover Boss.
What's the point? I think you're bullshitting if you actually point it out. I think it's a lot harder to recognize somebody in disguise than you think in real life. I've never been in that situation. I think it's just such a leap.
But also like the whole purpose is to literally gaslight you though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I just think it's like it's such like a hard leap to make, I feel like, if you're like really in that situation. It's like make the leap that no, this person is not the person they're telling me they are. They are actually this other very significant and important person. Must be. You'd be like, no, you're crazy. You think you're crazy if you told me like that's Eli Manning. Think I'm crazy. So you wouldn't say it. You'd gaslight yourself. Like, well, obviously that's not Eli Manning. Why would Eli Manning be here? That makes no sense. Anyway, that's what I think about that. That's a thought I've had. I've had no outlet to like express that thought, but I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like, people are like, oh, why do people think he's Superman if he's Clark Kent? I'm like, because why would you think this guy you work with who kind of looks like Superman is Superman? That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, why does he work here then? Why does any of this happen? You think, right? Like, imagine like if you tell people it works some guy with Superman, you'd be like, no, he's not. What do you look at him? He like wears glasses. He like hunches over. He doesn't talk like Superman. Why do you think that's crazy? Look, oh, he has the same color hair, like a jawline. Oh yeah, must be. It'd be crazy.
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure, chisel-jawed white guys are a dime a dozen.
Exactly, there are plenty of them.
that's probably his real disguise.
He'd be like, by that logic, he could also be Troy Aikman. Like, what are we talking about here? Like
that Superman just looks like any random contestant
like
on The Bachelor. Like, that's perfect disguise. Really.
Hey, it looks like again, like even if you thought he looked like him, and he said, "Are you Superman?" And he said, "No." Like, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna pursue it further?
Is it Superman or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Exactly. Like, it's like you'd be like, what kind of asshole would keep pursuing it? It'd be crazy. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Yeah. So the Celtics don't have a coach anymore.
No.
I'm kind of glad that we get to react to this like a little bit removed from it. I gotta tell you, because after it happened, after me and Jordan had like our initial argument, like after I had like my next like couple hours of like letting the thoughts marinate, I think like once it broke, and initially, which by the way this is not in the reporting anymore. Initially, all the reporting was consensual relationship. Ime Udoka going to be suspended a year. And after I thought about it for like an hour, I was like, well, I doubt it was just like a regular thing. Like if this was just like my initial thought was like, well, if this was genuinely just a matter of like he was like dating somebody who worked there, regardless of like whatever rules there are about doing that, with the Celtics, if he was just like dating somebody who worked there, they just like hung out, they like did some stuff, whatever level it escalated to, and then they just stopped. And everything was chill. They wouldn't get rid of their head coach. Like there's no world where I believe that like the Boston Celtics, let alone like any NBA team, would get rid of like a half decent coach. Right? Is that fair? Over that, if it was just like a benign thing, even if like, well, it's against our rules, and like we can get into the conversation of like people probably shouldn't date or sleep with people who like work under them. There's a whole level of consent to that. But whatever. Like if like as far as like all the good parties are concerned, it was fine. Like you're not getting me. Like you're just not. Like it's not happening. Like there's no world where you do that. I just don't believe that like a sports franchise would do that ever. Like please, like an industry where they value winning above all else. Like let alone for something that's like at least where it was originally relatively benign. So I was like, so thusly I was like, that's not the whole story. There's zero world where that's the whole story. And then they took like 2 days to say anything. Like they waited till 10 p.m. This news broke at 10 p.m. I believe on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Then it took till 10 p.m. Thursday for them to be like, yes, for the Celtics to say anything, because they didn't say anything. Then Thursday at 10 p.m. they said, yeah, we're suspending him for a year. This is what happened. They did not say consensual, by the way. There was an incident with him and somebody, yada, 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 suspended. And don't know why it took them that long. I think they did themselves a horrible disservice. They did the whole organization a terrible disservice by waiting that long. I mean, my God, they had to take down their staff page on their website because just dudes were just going on it and just tweeting out like every single woman who worked for the Boston Celtics. I mean, like, this is the one, this woman. Oh no, it was actually this woman. Oh, it was actually like everybody was just trying to get it, which was not great. Not a good thing for anybody, but which obviously, again, you open the door for rampant speculation when you don't say anything for a day. Oh yeah, people were like tweeting at like Anna Horford about it. She was like firing off on people, but yeah, basically, yeah. So like, it's still not fully out there, like what it was, but I mean, like a lot of stuff that he was like maybe like he was. Like he was still harassing the woman or still whatever that means. It's vague. Like he was still like whoever this woman was, who some people say is like some of the reporting is that it was like the wife of like some VP with the Celtics who's like also does something, and that they actually caught them because they heard them arguing over the Ring doorbell, Jordan. What are those things called? The Ring doorbell? Is that what they're called? The Ring doorbells? Yeah, I know those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So not great. So either way, just to say that, like, this is not like, I know people on Twitter have just been firing off like, oh, like we're going to suspend him for a year for just like having a consensual relationship. Like, no, like it's not. There's like, it's like a bunch of reporters have came out and been like, actually, like there's like a lot of like darker truths to this, like Matt Barnes and like other people. Like this is clearly was something bad. Like clearly he had to have done something like bad. And like the more details come out, keep looking not great. And I mean, obviously it sucks. Like, it's entirely his fault. Like, he's if all this is true and all this is what it seems like it's 110%. Like, Ime Udoka is 100% accountable and he deserves whatever he's had coming to him. But, which sucks because dude just like threw away like a golden situation. Like, my God, the year you had a rookie head coach, like, you did great. You went to the finals. Everybody loves you. Ime Udoka probably could have been the coach of the Celtics for, like, the next 10 years. Or at the very least, like, if this petered out, he could go anywhere. Like, he was threw away being, like, probably, like, the most well-regarded, like, young coach in the game. You know, like, sky was the limit for Ime Udoka. And, I don't know, he had to, like, he couldn't just, like, go outside the building for, like, you know, his good times. You know, just could have left the building. You know? And nothing's come out. Like, I assume that like either like there was a threat of a lawsuit or something or another. Like, again, not good stuff. I don't want to minimize it. I don't want to minimize. Like, I don't want to minimize like if he was like really like sexually harassing people, this, you know, or assaulting people, or just was, you know, trying to take advantage of power dynamics. Which again, I'm sure it's something of that ilk, just based on everything that's coming out, based on the team's reaction to it. Again, Jordan, they're not gonna. Like, you agree with me. Like, they wouldn't suspend him if he just happened to violate a rule that like he signed in the employee handbook. Like, there's no world, right? So it just has to be something else. And I don't know. Like, it's just, if you're asking me what's, like, the next level to this, it's probably this. So, but, man threw it away. And it sucks. Because Ime Udoka was perfect. Like genuinely. Like, genuinely was, like, the exact coach they needed. Like, clearly, like the most important thing, like, Tatum and Brown really like him. They seem to respect him. All that. And now the coach is going to be Joe Manzula. You know, Rhode Island's own. From Johnston, you know, regrettably went to Bishop Hendricken. Not a fan of that. We are not loving that, and it's gonna be him. Interviewed for the Jazz job. If you haven't heard, he was one of the finalists for the Jazz job. Will Hardy, the Celtics like actual bench coach from last year, ended up getting the job. But you know, otherwise, his career stops, and his most recent career stop was as the head coach at Fairmount State, a Division II school. In West Virginia. And he was also their assistant. At one point, he was assistant with the Maine Red Claws when they were still the Maine Red Claws. And that's it. Which is to say, very, very light coaching resume. 34. Everybody seems to love him. They had Celtics Media Day today. By the way, Celtics Media Day was said. I didn't pull any sound from it, but basically, like, the players all talked like they all respect him, but they're fine with it. Apparently, the players did not know about this. Apparently, like, at least Tatum and Brown, if everybody's to be believed, which maybe they're lying, but like if all the players are to be believed, like they all found out about this on Twitter, which again, I don't know how much of that I believe. Like, I think if this was like going on, like I think they probably know about it. Like, is that unfair to say? Like, if there's anything like really brewing down in like, you know, TD Garden, I would think they would hear about it. If it was like had risen to the level of being like a problem. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but whatever. I understand why they want to say they didn't know about it. Like, of course you're gonna. Of course you're gonna say you didn't know about it. Why would you? But yeah. So Missoula's gonna be the head coach. I guess now the question just becomes like, I guess as much as like I'll laud Ime, like the impact Ime Udoka had before. Again, he probably decided he had to now he has to do like, you know, 5 to a dime in horny jail. But which, by the way, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's ever coming. Like, I know they suspended him and they said he might come back. I don't think he's coming back, Jordan. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that.
Nah, just tell him to resign or
I think he's
fire him.
I don't think he's coming back. I don't even know how you do that. Like, even before I knew like the depths of this, I'm like, how do you spend him for a year and then he comes back? That doesn't work. He's not Alex Cora. I mean, come on. But I guess like for all I've said, All I've said about it is good. Should this realistically, like Mazzulla stepping in, Ime Udoka, should this realistically change the way any of us, anybody in the NBA landscape, like feels and evaluates the Boston Celtics? Like, should this actually change your confidence in the team?
Yes.
You see, I've spent a long time talking about the minimal impact of coaching in the NBA, right?
You have.
And I
very vocally.
And it's because I genuinely, I think Ime Udoka made an impact. I think he got them to play defense. I think he got them to buy into a system. But I got another Schefter update. I'm like, give me a Mac Jones update, you bastards. But especially with the whole thing being in place now, I think that if like they actually like were and like again, unless Mazzulla is like I guess like if your coach is like a complete and utter incompetent boob, like that will impact you. But unless if he is not, which sounded very nice at his press conference, a lot of good things, talked a lot about giving people room for space for healing and contemplation, and very nice words. If you are legit, like you're a legit team, which I think the Celtics are. I think they're proven to be. I don't think this should derail you. And if it does, if this really derails the Celtics, I mean, like the timing of it sucks. Like that element of it. Training camp starts like tomorrow. But, which again is another reason why I think like the team like either like completed their investigation or learned some stuff like last minute, because the timing of this is atrocious. Otherwise, you would never time this up this way intentionally. But if the Celtics are legit, like the coach change thing, like shouldn't impact them. Like if these guys are for real and these guys can like self-regulate and like these guys can like hold themselves, like these players can like hold themselves accountable and like keep doing the things, like keep like the commitment to defense, keep the commitment to like, you know, playing like an unselfish, like productive brand of basketball, like this shouldn't derail them. And again, like if it does, I'm not blaming Joe Mazzulla. Like I'd have to look at, you know, Tatum, Brown, Smart, the whole thing, the players. Like I'd have to look, because I think that's who it falls on in the NBA for the most part. Anyway, like it sucks because Ime was hurt, because they liked Ime. I think like having a coach they like can like impact like if they'll stay and all that. But like I guess I started thinking about it this way. Like Jordan, would you start feeling different if like about the Bucks, if like Mike Budenholzer got like hit by a train tomorrow?
A little bit, but here's the difference. Here's my angle from it.
Mm-hmm.
I have no reason to believe that they won't turn into the team they were at the beginning of last season.
Okay.
That's sort of my whole take on it. If they can continue this momentum, if they can, you know, actually play like the quality players that they are, then they should be able to run on autopilot.
Yeah.
But I am not convinced that they just won't slide back to the mess they were.
Well,
you know,
you
pre-All-Star break last year.
Are you not convinced of that though, just because of like how you feel about like this like group of players overall, or does it have to do with the coach?
Both, because
okay.
I mean, Brad Stevens was there, the exact same roster for the most part, and they weren't working.
Well, see, I guess, just again, like if that's the case, then I don't think that's the coaching thing. I think that's just like either like the players they have, like they're not legit, or like they're soft, like they don't buy it. We'll have to watch the whole season, but I like if there's like a road bump at like the beginning of the season's kind of rough, and you're like, all right, like they dealt with something like at the beginning of the year, like whatever. Because again, this is horrific timing. Like none of them sounded like, all of them sounded like at least like it impacted them a little bit. Fine. But like when we get out like to the All-Star break, like over the course of the year, like if they are a real team. Like, if they are a legit contending team, which right now they're still the betting favorite, still the favorite for the title. And by the way, again, they've had a terrible week. Robert Williams is out for 6 to 8 weeks. He had surgery. They're bad week. They lost their coach. Bad week for the Celtics. But I guess, like, it's more like if they, like, fall short of expectations this year, like, I'm not going to give them the out of, like, well, they lost Ime Udoka. So, I mean, like, come on. Like, I don't see that as an excuse, if that makes sense. Like, because like they should be able to do it. Like they took a step last year. Like they should be able to like self-regulate. They should be able to like kind of be on autopilot. Again, like if Mazzulla is like a complete and total like nincompoop, then maybe that affects you a little bit. But he doesn't sound like it. People seem to like it. People seem to regard him. You know, whatever. Like NBA coaches are a dime a dozen. But Like, I don't, like, if they can't, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, like, that's because of the coach. I'm maybe like, well, that's because, like, Tatum, like, the leadership didn't work with these players and the whole thing didn't work. So it just, like, my expectations for the Celtics aren't, like, now that I've, like, had time to, like, think about, like, I'm not, like, adjusting my expectations for this team. Like, I'm not giving them the out of that. Like, I think they still have the talent. Like, they've added Malcolm Brogdon was a huge addition. Like, Gallinari being hurt sucks, but still, like, Brogdon's a huge addition. Like, I expect these guys, like, should capitalize off of what they had last year, and they should be hungry after, like, the way it ended. Like, both positively and negatively. Like, they should be able to, like, recover from this. Like, this is something they should be able to deal with. Like, I think most of the great teams in the league should, because, again, like, if the Bucks lost Mike Budenholzer, I wouldn't suddenly be like, well, now I think the Bucks are, like, yeah. Like,
but, like, the Bucks, like, Giannis is Giannis. Yeah. Like, everyone's going to fall in line,
yeah.
but
Exactly.
I
should be able to be Tatum.
Like to think the same would be on the Celtics, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's
the
the
culture
point.
Didn't change until Ime got there, so I don't know if that's a product of him or is that something that just inherently happened between the two.
I think it is. I think he made an impact, but I think that impact shouldn't go away. I think again, if these guys are for real, they should internalize all the success they have, and if they can't, like, then maybe they're not the guys, Like, if they can't, like, weather this, like, then, yeah, like, they're not, like, then there are a lot of problems. But again, like, if Giannis should be Giannis, like, why can't Tatum be Tatum? Like, why shouldn't everybody fall in line? Because
Giannis isn't head and shoulders better than everybody else in the league.
Yeah, but again, it's like, Bob, I even say that, like, I don't know.
Tatum isn't.
Yeah. But if, like, I don't know. Yeah, if, like, Eric Spoelstra, like fell down a well. Like, would you suddenly be like, oh, yeah, no, the Heat are cooked?
I actually think that Heat team might fall apart if Eric Spoelstra fell down a well.
Like, what if they say, like, Udonis Haslam, the head coach, like, tomorrow? Like, you think they're going to miss a beat? Like, you really, like, you're like, or at least are you, like, giving them that out? Like, I just don't. If Udonis Haslam specifically is the head coach of the Heat tomorrow.
I mean, he might just be already, but, like, that's different. Like, that's... You want to talk about veteran leadership?
I just don't think it's they.
if we're really gonna meme about it and take it seriously,
I'm just saying, like, if you are legit, like, no matter how good the coach is or whatever, it shouldn't impact you. Like, you think that if, like, Steve Kerr, like literally, I was gonna say if Steve Kerr fell out, Steve Kerr has literally missed like 60 games. What season the Warriors won the most games ever? Like, it shouldn't impact them. It should not impact them, like, significantly. And if it does, like, that's. Like, I'm not going to give them the out and be like, well, Ime was gone. Like, it makes sense. I'm going to be like, no, like, what do you, idiot? Like, what do you get? Come on! Like, stop doing this!
We'll see their real colors, because you are
that's my
correct.
point. Like, this will...
If they are what they're supposed to be, if that wasn't a fluke last season, then they should come out gangbusters and not miss a beat.
Yeah, they should weather this. Like...
Or relatively.
Like, they should, this should not impact them in any meaningful way. Like, it shouldn't. Like, if these guys are legit and, like, again, like, Missoula, like, and I'll keep the same scheme and everything, like, that element of it will probably be the same. And, they should be able to do this, and they should be able to weather this, and they should, like, have the leadership, or else, again, like, they're not a championship caliber team. Like, if they are a real championship caliber team, which I think they are, like, this should not make them fall apart and fall to pieces and fall short of expectations, because you have, your core group of players have won plenty. Like, this has been a successful core. They've been to the playoffs a million times. Like, they should be able to do this. So we'll see. I don't know. You have any thoughts on anything else, Jordan?
Why is Russell Westbrook still on the Lakers?
They got to work out that trade, baby.
Every time I think about this alleged Buddy Hield, Miles Turner for those goddamn 2027 and 2029 first round picks, it makes me so angry.
Yeah, that's fair. That's it. All right, everybody. Have a great week. Again, this will be posted on the Tuesday. We recorded this on the Monday. We'll be back next week. Not sure what day we're going to record. Again, I have some things kind of moving around. A lot of moving parts, but have a great week. Follow the YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at JakeR. Follow the TikTok and the YouTube for the Stadium Experience. And follow Jordan at True World King on Twitter. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.